said my grandmother, nemaš gazdu dok ne rodiš. You don't have a boss or kind of like, you don't have a boss until you give birth.
Yeah. My name is Tamara Maksymenko. I am a dancer, dancing basically since 4 years old, so it's more or less my life. I am also organize some dance and art events, and I established an association, an art association in Tirol. And this is Ivana. So basically, we decided to have a series of podcasts where we speak with different people. We speak about art and also touching some spicy or sensitive topics, social topics. And our first release is going with Ivana. She's now in maternity leave, but she was pretty long working as leadership of one exhibition place which is called Kunstraum in Innsbruck, and before also in Vienna. So maybe you can say a couple of words about what you have done.
Yes, so I'm, as Tamara announced, my name is Ivana Marjanović, and I've been working since 2019 at Kunstraum Innsbruck as artistic and managing director. And before that, I lived in Vienna, and before that, I was born and also I lived for a long time in Belgrade. And I'm curator and cultural producer, also writer. And I've been now in the last 10 years intensively curating. Before that, I've been a lot into research because I did my PhD about activism and performance, specifically about Queer Belgrade Collective, which was part of the festival in Belgrade in 2000s. And yes, I've been doing a lot of different things, also creative projects together with artists, depending in which kind of like situations I worked. Also experimental projects, collective, political, always art related to some kind of urgent topics of today. And also one bigger part of my curatorial practices have been also working with artists who have experience of migration. This is something that I've been a lot involved in Vienna, and then also here in Innsbruck. I told you already that I don't know yet how it is because I didn't start. I mean, I will have to start a little bit earlier because I need to plan the program for the year after.
Mm-hmm.
So in the autumn, I will start working.
Mm-hmm.
But I need to plan the program for 2027. So this I will start soon, and so I will start earlier work a little bit, you know. And I did some small things already, but how it is, I don't know yet how this will work together. It will be, let's see. I mean, in any case, in any case, what I wanted to say, wait a second, I lost me. This is I was once.
I understand you. Oh my god.
No, I was once in the Künstlerhaus, Büchsenhausen. There was a book presentation, and there were two curators,
Yes.
and one was with a child. And she was so focused on speaking about projects, like like not a single moment she was kind of like
Wow.
distracted, and I was really impressed because I cannot imagine this. I actually can get some invitations, but I don't accept. I don't know if I have to travel somewhere. I was invited to do something in Vienna in June. For me, it's too early to take part in some evening events, because in the evening she goes earlier to bed, and she needs me because I'm breastfeeding and so on and so. But I already, let's say, like after New Year and after the holidays, I already started thinking, this is the thing that I'm not like kind of yet working, but I started thinking. So the work is working in me, what to do, how, whom to invite, which artists, how to put the exhibition. So I'm kind of like, okay, waiting still that this officially starts, that I officially start working, but I'm still already kind of brainstorming. Yes. So how it will be, I mean, let's see how it will be when I start, but I think it will be okay, because I have we have a kind of support in the family, and also Daniel is freelancer, so like selbstständig.
Yeah.
So I think the kind of like working times that we have combined together will be okay. I can still be with her in the morning, and we work in Kunstraum at the afternoons.
Yeah.
So then he can take over in the afternoons, or something like that. It will be.
Because you wanted to bring her to kindergarten.
It's too early. We are 1 year.
Yeah, 1 year exactly. Yeah. In my opinion, it's also a little bit too early. Yes, I can relate easily to what you said. That I mean, me and Sasha, we also like self-employed, selbstständig here. And I think in the first year, it really mattered a lot that he could be more present, I think, than other dogs because of this beauty. I mean, even though it's very hard with many other laws and secrets and many things he and me in a different scale have to handle, but in general I think this is the way, actually the dream way to build a family. And maybe this artistic field where we work more or less, this also brings this actually capability to make it this way.
Yeah, but I think it would be better if this would be even better supported, like from the institutions, because also now you realize with the crisis, it's kind of also less work, and in the freelance field and in the cultural field especially, and it's also kind of like on one hand you have more time. But on the other hand, it's also kind of like you're not relaxed. It's not like, it's different if I'm luckily, because I'm employed, so I could have maternity leave paid for 1 year. And and it would be nice if this is also kind of like for men more than it is.
Yes, and
especially in the beginning, because it's very, very intensive in the beginning.
Yeah. You mean the amount of support?
Yes, that the men are also paid parallel.
Exactly, that they can skip more job.
Yes.
Exactly, but I think I'm not sure. I think that Finland or Sweden, I'm not sure, but one of those countries in started like processing this way, because I heard from some desk that they have some some benefits with staying at home by staying at home with the family. And so maybe it's a big deal, but it depends in terms of the social perspective. Like if there would be the war, like then I think all those human rights benefits will be gone. But until now, I think Europe, at least Europe, thinks in that way, which is good. But I also felt it's so weird, because I think Austria is one of the best countries who can deal with this kind of stuff, like also money wise, time wise, and supporting a lot of institutions, little organizations for Frauen, for women, for that and that and that. And even though first year I felt so much desolated, lost, not supported enough, even with the situation where my husband could be more, even though he still had to work, but the amount of work as a young mom, like a young board mom, you have to do, it's absolutely insane. It's like wow, it's like I have no words to describe it. And I think it's possible only to see if you are there to see this amount. I mean, if you have this experience. Before I heard it from women, but never really was so much into this. But I was really shocked by real life how it feels.
I think it's also different because you're an artist and you were not employed before that, you know. So for you, it's kind of like for people who are freelancers, students, they don't have this kind of like a support that the employed people have. So it's tough because you're kind of, you don't have the security of, okay, now I'm receiving this money, that is kind of like a salary.
Yeah.
You know, so you're not going to work, but you're at home with the child, but you are paid, you get monthly salary. And then you know that the job is waiting for you and how it will continue. You know, you have security, but and in your case, you have to apply for projects or festival. You know, you have more. And this is tough.
At the same time, first year there is a law which anyway gives a very little support to self-employed moms.
Mm-hmm.
But that money you can, I don't know what you can, 2 times, 3 times shopping for the family, for a big family. So it's not a lot. But anyway, there is officially, there is a little support because of also your income and etc. But this is a long topic, maybe a little bit different. I can talk a lot about finance because I just, yes, with this taxes, etc., how it works. Everything is together, like, yeah. Yes. Anyway, it was, yes, it was not enough and it was not too much. And yes, I was stressed and I had to... Да, Зайкин, что махать? Зайчонок, мы тут снимаем видео. Лун, иди сюда к нам. Бусинка. Я думаю, у нее тут все нормально.
Да. С этим обычно скину шарф на выручку.
And do you know a lot of artists who have kids, like a self-employed artist, or because you worked basically a lot with art and before, like 10, 15 years already in this field? Or?
Oh, 20 years.
20. Okay.
Well, I know some that were getting. I mean, yes, of course, there are many who have, but you know, it's different age, different. But most of the artists that I know who got children in the first early time, they didn't exhibit or I didn't work with them. I worked with one artist who was pregnant when we were setting up the exhibition, Sophie Utical. And I think she was something like in the 6th month. And this was okay still for her. I think she had one more show after. And, but I had artists that I was already, I got Wanda and then the exhibition opened in September. So I pre-prepared. I curated the show, but I didn't. I was not there at the opening and at the setup, but I prepared together then with my colleague, and she then worked at the opening and the exhibition setup. And they have children, for example. This is very interesting. They engage their children into their projects, like they make films, videos, films, performances, a lot of performances, and they include their children. And but now they're not anymore. They're not so young. So when they were coming here, they were coming without children. So they then for a couple of days were away from home. But they have family, grandparents, and so on who then support them. I also read recently in one book about dancers couple. They were maybe you know them. They did performances for pets.
So sorry, but I feel like
yes, because it's not you don't hear anything.
Exactly, this is always scary. Понятно тут у тебя? Супер, все хорошо, смотри, все. Я просто увидела, как все прошло. Да. Класс, у тебя там игрушка? Иди к нам, хочешь? Хочешь на ручки? Иди-ка. Ой. Я sorry. Давай мы нам тут пишем звук, давай пока мы положим. Yes.
So they did for quite some time. They were doing performances for pets, like pet owners would invite them, and they would come and then perform for pets. They are from the dance community. They live in Vienna, and they then got a child, and then they included their son into their performances.
Oh, nice.
Because they said, why to go? We go to rehearse, and then we give our child to babysitter. So, and practically we do at the rehearsals what we also do at home, because they practice together, and the child is anyway involved when they are doing at home, like some kind of dance movements and so on. So they had a show that was
How old was the kid?
I didn't think that they did from a couple of years. I don't know exactly, but still, maybe the child was 6 or something like that.
Months or
No,
years? Да, зайка. Злой, ты так думаешь? Это злой дядя? Может быть, еще. We both know one beautiful artist, Sasha Portyannikova, and last summer she did this project. I'm so bad with names. I'm sorry. If you look at this video, sorry. But that was like improv research of solo with one musician. So one dancer, one musician, and a few times we went with Luna there together and tried to dance 20 minutes non-stop. So it was a kind of performance for a couple of people, only like a rehearsal, yes. And then in September we performed, of course, without already, but why, of course? Actually not, of course, right? But when we did it with Luna a couple of times, it worked really perfectly. Very interesting, because Luna also came in the stage. She also started performing. We started dancing together. I have videos, really. Music is like a very nice and interesting. And at that moment, I was thinking, wow. And also in Kunstraum, you remember in June last year, you haven't been there, when I was with Зайчик, я занята сейчас, моя хорошая. When we were... На какую качелю? Которая сломалась? She won a shout. So when we were in Kunstraum with Olena Polianska, and we performed like 1 hour performance on the exhibition of Michaela. Wow, that was really nice. And Luna, one moment, Luna came to us, and we had a trio. Кисюшка, нет качели, зайчик, нету качели. Нету, моя хорошая.
So she came into your performance.
Yeah, she entered the place because we moved in the space, and public moved around. At one moment, we were like in front of a certain pictures, and she entered. She came to us, and we started laying on the floor together, like moving. Yes, and I think people were really like. But yeah. Yeah.
This artist, in the interview that I read, it was very interesting because they also talked about that it's actually in this kind of professional art settings, it's kind of not imaginable that you would do something on the stage or on the podium, like everything has to be very serious. So if you have a child, you're interrupted, things get chaotic, it gets anarchistic, it has another rhythm and another law and another it's a lot of unpredictability in the situation, and that it's actually why not to include, why that it doesn't Why does it have to be according to this, rule?
Let's say maybe why not do not give the space for this energy, be creative and like integrated in the art piece, like, because it's true, in one hand it's more possible to, how to say, to transform, that you have something which cause maybe some, I don't know, uncomfortable things for you, but then you transform it, or you just take the knowledge from the situation and you also transform it into maybe a piece. But in the morning today, I had another conversation with one musician, and because he asked what is my project now, and last time I performed in Berlin in the project of Emanuela Will of dance, but that was not my project. And the project we did in Brooks in September, which is Silence of the Mass, it was a dance theater project, very beautiful, very nice, but I haven't created it by my own. I just invented the topic. So, and I then realized that for the last years, with the baby coming, it's very strange to me as an artist, because it seems to me that there is no thing I want to talk about. I mean, I at the same time I'm very much into politics, social things. So there are many things I want to talk about. That's why we started basically this maybe podcast, because there is a need to talk. But this also relates, I mean, to art, but also relates a lot to how we live, where we go, and but in terms of like creation, because it's absolute another world, and I think it's absolute. It requires really like really, for me at least, silence, a long time silence, and a long time doing nothing. Then something could come like absolutely new and beautiful. And for that, basically, we need support from institutions to pay for a person doing nothing for a while. Like, and then there is this comes.
So that's for you the process of kind of like preparing a piece, right?
It's like a process, exactly like being a pregnant. You doing less, right? You exist, you grow it. And for me, for instance, when I was active, like even exactly from artistic perception, like I created every year new projects, because for me still there is a big difference between I am invited as an artist and I do an art work for someone with the clear tasks, even if I put a seed of my heart there anyway, or I do it from the ground, from zero, from what I want to say, like Hindur about war, or La Loba about female aspect, etc. So this is something, and this grows sometimes years. So you're like pregnant with the idea for years, and this is also strange, but would be nice. This is just a dream that this kind of way somehow would be supportive, but it was never in this way. Always this pregnant period is not seen, and not pregnant in artistic way, and not supported enough. But then you can only apply when you give a birth in your mind. Like, okay, you know concepts, you know exactly what you want to do, then maybe you will have something. But this is just, just a talk that. But I think there are different ways for artists to create.
I mean, I notice for me, like now in this period of maternity leave, it's when I do not visit a lot of events now, like because everything is happening in the evening, and
Yeah.
we went maybe once, twice, but it kind of feels strange because it's a very big change in your life. It's like another person present in your life, has a very big role, and it's you're somewhere, a lot of people around that know you, and then it's some kind of like you cannot talk really like something deep about the experience, because it's like how it is at some exhibition opening event. You have like small talks, and also with the baby it's kind of strange. I don't know, I like to meet artists and people, but I like to meet them privately or in the studio or something like very intimate, you know. But some kind of like also there is not so much things that I can visit with one in terms of the day rhythm, because it's everything happening more or less in the evening. So that's for us not the time we can.
That's for sure. That's for sure for me the same thing. And during the festival, конфета? Кисюшка, хочешь кусочек чего-нибудь? Яблочко хочешь? Конфету. She want a candy. And yeah, she woke up today with someone. So for me it was the same thing, that I've become desolate because all my life was more in the evening and all kunst, like art events happening in the evening. And for me it also was always a challenge. And it's so funny because sometimes now some friends of mine asking me, because I have to replace one friend of mine. She's giving classes in Uzi, and she asked me if I can do it. Then she asked me, do you want maybe to drop in just to have a look what I do? And I was like, oh my god, this is 2 hours of my life. This is a lot. Also, it's a lot. For 2 hours I can do a Steuererklärung, you know. Really, like I am really efficient with this, and I was like, 2 hours is a huge world for me. And in the evening, yeah. Спасибо, Кисюшка, спасибо, моя хорошая. So during the festival, it was also a huge pity because every jam, you know, I cannot ask also Sasha to do it like every evening, but you know, to put her asleep. So, and she needed me. That's also was the thing, that there was no way to like cause to harm her. And every jam, I could not basically dance, and also yeah, because it's not possible in the evenings. And also, like, we have jams on Donnerstag, on the Thursdays here, contact improvisation jams, and they cannot be there because it's evening. Very rare when I can actually go somewhere like in the evening.
But on the other hand, you discover some kind of other things, you know, like we went to a lot of concerts, or not, some concerts at the Oyster Festival here in Tirol that are happening at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, nice. Yes.
So,
in Austin,
yeah. So this was really nice because it's like in the middle of the day, you know, like when I didn't have a child and I was working, I could not go at 3 o'clock in the afternoon to a concert because I'm working at that time.
Yeah.
And now this was really nice.
And where are your kids?
Oh, she's asking.
Well, I think
Outside.
she remembers.
На полю.
Луна, ты помнишь, там коты были, да?
Мальчику на полю.
Котята на улице сейчас. Они потом сюда придут вечером.
Можем напить там Даниэла да изове.
Даниэл, если придет, мы его спросим, где коты.
Should we bring them in, the cats?
No, not necessary. That's fine.
She's just like... Класс, бусинка моя.
Well, I would not say that I had time to reflect on that because I'm completely focused on her, and it's kind of like...
Just a moment. Just a moment, guys. Лун, стоп. Меня снимает камера, на меня много людей будет смотреть, а ты мне туда будешь. Моя хорошая, ну это... I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
About the cultural life in the city.
Yes.
I mean, it's kind of like that I'm following less because I don't have the time
Capacity,
and
yeah.
capacity. But I go to visit some exhibitions and I see what I can do with Manda together. And it's also nice to bring her around because for her it's interesting to see. It's another, because everything is new for her. So,
Yeah.
everything is new, so to see also some shows together, it's that I tell her about what is it about, to see how she experiences it. It's a nice experience. It's also kind of cool to have this as activity, because you can do that with the baby. You can go see exhibitions. It's during the day.
Yes, it's true.
I mean, it's not some kind of like a program that is on a stage or something, but you can do it. So that's really nice. And
Do you feel it like there is one person that you could that you can introduce your world to? So it's like before you worked for culture sector like for a long time, and now you have a person, a little human being that you can introduce the beauty of what you're related to.
yeah, slowly. I mean, I think I'm looking forward. We would like to go in autumn to see Venice Biennale. So I'm curious how this will be for her. Or of course that we have to see not to do like we did before, like
Have you been there before in Venice Biennale?
me. Or,
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I was invited once. I just was randomly in Venice, and I was during Biennale, and I dropped to one art piece. I liked it, and then I was invited actually to maybe offer her work there, and I was asked by Biennale to pay from my side as an artist to be seen. And for me, this kind of concept looked weird. So what they basically do it, for me it was a little bit strange, but I understand that there are many ways to do art. So they like built a platform where they charge maybe public, I don't know, but also some is for free. There is exhibition, but
No, it's not for free.
not everything. Something was, I think,
Maybe some off program or something.
maybe because I dropped in just maybe I was like, well, just sneaky one dropped in anyway. Sorry. Yes, but they also charge artists to be seen, and again, maybe not everyone, maybe just not truly famous.
Yeah, I don't know how it. I mean, this different kind of like parts of the. I don't know exactly what was it.
Biennale, the most main this part of yeah. So and after this, because I spoke, I have like a email conversation, etc. So I just realized that sometimes I can invest some money to be seen.
No, I think that artists should not pay to show their work. I mean, they should be paid to show their work.
For me, the same way. I just didn't want maybe to make it like.
No, I think that this is. I know that in the last years at the film festivals, for example, that the filmmakers have to pay to apply at Biennale or these kind of bigger film festivals. So to apply so that your work is seen and considered at all, you have to pay like some money.
So please, just a moment. How, in general, I would say my question about Belgrade is it supported? Is it like a big scene or?
I mean, there's a big scene. It's a big city, but it has been very difficult, especially in the since quite. Actually, in the 90s there were wars in former Yugoslavia. So we have to see that she doesn't give her apple to eat. Because she cannot buy it.
I think Luna is gonna eat it alone because she's
Okay.
kind of. But yes, I will. Also, Polina, we can continue.
Because so when I started working, it was this kind of post-war situation. It was still a very precarious everything, like the funding. We started this independent cultural scene. And at that moment, there was also some possibilities like getting some, as NGOs, some funding from abroad, as part of the Eastern Europe transition and so on. There were some funds. But at the moment and in the last years, it has been very, very difficult because the regime in Serbia is extremely corrupt. Okay. And they do not even like support people. They don't. It's like very, very difficult. But many people whom I know, who are like my colleagues, they are really involved in the political struggles at the moment. Like even working for there's a very big student movement in the last years. Who students who did many protests and organized many protests, and so people work very close to the student movement and like preparing for the next elections, hoping that the regime will change, and then that they will be also contributing to some kind of new situation in the cultural field. This group that I wrote about, they were active in the beginning of 2000s. They do not exist anymore. And in the context of impossibility to organize the Pride parade, and thinking about how to still do some activist cultural work, but in a more safe space. So it was a clandestine festival, and they did a very beautiful and very strong political cabaret shows under the leadership of one artist from London, Jet Moon. She worked with local and also international activists and people listening to stories and creating some scripts that were performed then on the stage.
But even cabaret, in this classical way of cabaret?
But not classical, because it was more kind of like an activist queer cabaret.
Okay.
Short like performances, activists telling their stories, political in terms of touching the topics from, of course, queer, LGBT, but also no border movement and also anti-fascist and capitalist critical and so on. So bringing political stories from the activism and the lives of activists on the stage.
Yeah. Can we say that in the little cities of Serbia there is no art? Cities like Innsbruck, this dimension, is there any art?
There is. There are cities that have different kind of manifestations. Look, I would say that in Austria, smaller cities have more resources and there is more investment in cultural. Even like in Innsbruck, where we criticize a lot that the focus is on sport, there is a lot of money invested in sport events, and sport is like a tourist attraction here. So it's like in Vienna is culture. Viennese tourist offer is cultural life. In Innsbruck is sport. But even like a city like Innsbruck with much less cultural life than big city has more resources than in Serbia would be city big like Innsbruck. But this doesn't mean there is no art, But
This is this way that she needs. She needs me already. I think we will slightly come to the end of the topic.
Yes.
Sorry, I just come back in this level.
So yes, I think that there is simply much less money, in culture in Serbia or in comparison to Austria.
And can we say that this is a direct impact on art, if there is a funds, right?
Sure.
That this would,
of course,
encourage people to support, to do something, to create. Yeah.
But here also you have the thing that people are moving to Vienna to do their work. From some artists they move because they don't have also so many venues that they can exhibit. I speak from the visual arts, There are few institutions and you exhibit there, when you will exhibit again,
Сейчас мы договорим и иду с тобой, обещаю тебе. Обещаю, Кися, обещаю. Смотри, у тебя уже такая штучка. Ну, побудь.
Давай сейчас уже чуть-чуть они попрощаются и все. Давай.
But on the other hand, it's also kind of people travel to show their work.
Yeah.
You don't need to live necessarily in a big city. It depends on what you need, what kind of like a moment in your life is. If you need a lot of input, if you are like you have a big need for exchange and learning process, depends where you are, how much, at which stage of your career you are. I guess this plays a role if you like to live in a small city or not. I once talked to one very important film director, alternative film director in Serbia, from Serbia, Želimir Žilnik, from the times of former Yugoslavia. He started in the 60s and he lives in Novi Sad, which is a smaller city. It's bigger than Innsbruck, but it's still not like big like Belgrade. And he told me he likes much more to live in Novi Sad because you go out, you see people, you know people. It's kind of nicer and it's more kind of like human. You have your community. You are in Belgrade. It's like big city, like to move, just to go to the city center, the public transport, this is like taking time and effort and energy, to see all these crowds of people, and it's completely different. I think that it depends really what one needs in a moment of life. When I was very young, I wanted to go abroad. I wanted to see other places. I wanted to learn other things. I was really like very open to not that I'm now closed, but I put a lot of energy in that, so I don't need again something like that. Because in luxury fashion is also like that, you can move from one city to city, This is part of the cultural, life of many people working there. Then you apply for a job in Berlin, like with the German speaking. You could go somewhere else to work. But this is like again building your life from the beginning, from the beginning. It's at some point you don't want to do this anymore. You don't need it. Maybe some people need, some artists need, or cultural workers, they like it, they want this kind of changes. But for me, I must say, after like living in Belgrade and Vienna and Minsk, it's not that I need other things. For me, I really enjoy to be in a place that is when there is Duna. Huh?
This is already
Okay.
to come.
Yeah, then we can slowly go to.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming, for meeting us, and for having this intense and nice and sweet conversation. So it's gonna be a part 2 and part 3.
We have our bosses here.
Genau.
So we have to.
Yes. So our boss says us to come back to our main job. Thank you so much and see you again.